In May 1945, as the Third Reich collapsed and World War II in Europe drew to a close, one of Nazi Germany's most powerful leaders surrendered to American forces. Hermann Göring, once the second most influential man in Nazi Germany, gave himself up to the United States Army's 36th Infantry Division in Bavaria. His surrender marked the fall of a regime built on terror, ambition, and destruction. Hermann Göring had been a central figure in Adolf Hitler's rise to power. A celebrated fighter pilot during World War I, he later became commander of the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force. In the early years of the war, Göring played a key role in Germany's military victories and was rewarded with immense power, wealth, and prestige. He oversaw economic exploitation, the looting of occupied territories, and policies that supported persecution and mass murder across Europe. As Allied armies closed in from both east and west in the spring of 1945, Nazi leadership descended into chaos. Hitler retreated into his Berlin bunker, increasingly paranoid and detached from reality. When Göring attempted to position himself as Hitler's successor, he was accused of betrayal and stripped of his titles. Overnight, Göring fell from favor, losing the authority he had spent years consolidating. Realizing that the war was lost and determined to avoid capture by Soviet forces, Göring chose to surrender to the Americans. On May 6, 1945, near the Bavarian Alps, he approached soldiers of the U.S. 36th Infantry Division. He arrived with several aides and a large collection of personal belongings, including uniforms and valuables, as if still clinging to the status he once held. American troops were astonished by the surrender of such a high-ranking Nazi official. Göring offered no resistance and attempted to present himself as cooperative and dignified. Despite his confidence, it was clear that his power was gone. He was taken into custody and later transferred to Allied control as a prisoner of war. Göring was eventually brought to Nuremberg, where he stood trial before the International Military Tribunal. Charged with war crimes, crimes against humanity, and conspiracy to wage aggressive war, he remained defiant throughout the proceedings. He tried to justify Nazi actions and portray himself as a statesman rather than a criminal. In October 1946, Göring was found guilty and sentenced to death. The night before his execution, he took his own life using a concealed cyanide capsule. Though he escaped the gallows, his convictions stood as a lasting judgment against the crimes of the Nazi leadership. The surrender of Hermann Göring symbolized the total collapse of the Nazi regime. Once a man of immense power, he ended the war as a prisoner, remembered not for glory, but for his role in one of history's darkest chapters.